Hello. Hi, this is Brandon. Um, so, just to touch on a few more subjects, I remember when I first got out here, and remember, my older cousin, everything is disingenuous about her, to the point to where, you know, just the fake smiles. And I even told her on our way here, like, are you patronizing me? She's like, oh no, Brandon. I was like, oh man, yeah. Like, you could tell when people were being disingenuous with you. And I wanted to say this. Like, when you look at gang stalking videos and people are explaining gang stalking, you got to use your sense of discernment when you do that. If you don't, then the gang stalkers will the thing of it is, the gang stalkers, they'll make videos to try to throw people off. You know, they'll try to throw people off of these tactics that they're using. And the thing of it is, what ends up happening is, like, they'll send gang stalker videos, and these people will be gang stalkers, and you'll be like, so like I said, just use your sense of discernment as far as who's who and who's being genuine. So I'm still in Vegas. I'm gonna leave here. I don't want to state what state or city I'm going to, but I'm gonna, because like, you want to keep as much information private these days, because sometimes I feel like, even if I think about it, and they already know about it. You know what I mean? Remember I told you I was chipped on my last video? So take it from me. Take it from me. Take it from somebody who has been through the ringer in more ways than one. When I initially got out here to Vegas, I didn't have any money or anything like that. So I would panhandle, and panhandling I'm not used to that. So that got monotonous. And because I'm used to, like, having a job, or like, if worst case scenario, I'll get on public subsidies, and I'll do it like that until I get myself a job or whatever have you, or I'll work odd jobs and stuff like that. I'll look around and I'll work odd jobs and things like that. So I'm realizing, I got tired of panhandling, so I started stealing. And mind you, I don't steal. I'm gonna be truthfully honest with you. I don't steal. I don't have a felony. I'm not drumming myself up to be a super saint or anything like that, but I don't steal. That's just one of the things that I don't do. I would rather work to get what I need in life. And I'm realizing thieving out here is way too easy. Like, to the point to where I'm damn near stealing in these people's faces. And it took me a while. It took me a while to put it. I know it sounds crazy. It took me a while to put it together. But, like, I'm realizing that the people who work at these stores, 7-Eleven, A&PMs, little small liquor stores, that these people are gang stalkers. Because, like nobody steals that easy. Like, I come in, just take what I want, just shove shit in my pants and whatever have you. And they wouldn't do anything. Like, there was a couple times where people actually seen me stealing. Like, I'm stealing right in front of their faces, and they don't say anything. And I'm realizing, oh, these people are gang stalkers. So this is what I'm factoring in. And you guys can help me out too. This is what I'm factoring in. I think that because they remember I told you they didn't give me my stimulus. They stole my income taxes, right? Legally. This is literal tax money that I work for, in terms of previous years' work of jobs and stuff like that I never applied for, aka amended returns. So I'm realizing, okay, wow, these people are actually, they're probably tallying this up, like, okay, well, he stole that, and that. We can subtract it from this, that, and the third. I don't know if they're doing that, but I'm not sure, because remember, these days, like, gang stalkers, they're liable to put anything past, like, you know what I mean? Like, they're liable to do anything, because in their mind, they're replacing what you would deem as the creator or God, or, you know. So the reality is, like I said in the last video, I should have touched on different bases. Some people get gang stalked for trying to find out who the true creator is, the true and living creator. Other people get gang stalked because they have ties with what people would consider as criminal organizations or mafiosos or terrorist organizations. Other people get gang stalked for psychological reasons, like testing and stuff like that. So the thing of it is, and mind you, every time I bring up gang stalking to random strangers, they don't understand. I remember I had relapse out here in Vegas. This is about 3 weeks ago, and what ended up happening was, like, the dude, he was a gang stalker, and he was, in a roundabout way, he was trying to tell me, I'll never forget it. I was actually smoking drugs with him, and I was trying to tell him, like, my situation and why I'm in this situation, and how I got ran off my job and things like that, and how my brothers are in on it, my sister's in on it, and everything like that. And he's just like, you know what? But you don't know how many of them there are. There's a lot of them. I'm like, I know how many of them are. There's just hordes of, like, fucking retards that just kind of follow people around, and, you know, they don't really have a life of their own, you know. And then he alludes to, where do you stay? I'm like, I stay at the homeless shelter out here. Not the Las Vegas Rescue Mission, but I stay at another one out here. It's another homeless shelter. And then he goes, well, how do you know? Like, how do you sleep at night? Do you sleep pretty well? And I'm just like, oh. So in a roundabout way, he was trying to tell me that, like I said, like on the last video, I said once you go to sleep, that's when they kind of do the whole psychological bit on you. And, you know, I don't know what they're doing. They could walk up to me and whisper and be like, you still want to do drugs? You still want to do drugs? You still want to do drugs? Or, you know, smoke this, smoke that, smoke this, smoke this, smoke this. You know what I mean? Like, you never know, because that's the type of thing that they do. I remember at the shelter out here, I woke up and I barely caught the tail end of somebody laser beaming me. I'm just like, huh? So like I said, strange things happen out here, you know, out here in Bizarro Land. And that's the reality of it. So I'm going to take this money. I'm going to get the hell out of here. I'm going to get the hell out of Dodge. I'll make another video. I'll probably look different because I'm going to shave up and stuff like that. So yeah, that's just my small experience out here in Vegas. I remember I had a job. Remember I told you guys I had a job for a month out here. I actually got hired. I have since lost my wallet. They stole my phone at the mission. At the shelter. So yeah, they stole my phone. I actually lost my wallet, you know, due to restlessness and stuff like that. Because, you know, when you like out here and you just don't know anybody and you don't have any support, you don't have any friends out here or whatever have you, and that's cool and all, you know. I'm not saying that's it's different, I guess, because I'm used to kind of knowing people and conversating, I guess you can say. But you know, I kind of got restless and I ended up leaving my wallet somewhere, and I walked back 10 minutes later, it was gone. Like I had about $12 in it, and they could have definitely just took the money and just left the wallet. They, you know, but when it comes to gang stalking, they got to get the whole thing, you know. So, because that's my whole thing of it is I found wallets before. I found wallets and I just picked up the wallet. I'll take the money out. I'll look at the ID. I'll look at the credit cards, and I'll put it all back in, and I'll toss the wallet right back where I found it. I just want the money. You know, so in terms of monetary value, that's all that's worth anything, right? Unless you're like some super hacker and you can like hack somebody's social, whatever have you, or you can sell somebody's social to the Pisces or whatever. Other than that, that's pretty much what happened. I'm just like, damn, man, fuck. They really had to take the whole fucking wallet? Like, they, you know. But I realized, the thought dawns on me, oh, wait, yeah, these are gang stalkers we're dealing with, you know. So, at this job, I get hired as a cooler person. So I got to stock the cooler, replace all the beers, the liquid beverages and stuff like that. And when I first get there, I'm not gonna say her name, but this lady, my coworker, she just keeps bothering me. She's like, Brandon, can you come and help me on the register? I come and help her. Mind you, I'm a cashier too at the same time. So I'm a cashier, and she just keeps coming in after every 5-10 minutes. And then I wouldn't be able to finish the cooler in time. I got 5 hours on shift, 2 hours to do the coolers, 3 hours on the register. And she keeps bothering me to the point to where like I can't even get the cooler done. And so I go help her out, and at the end of my shift, she you know, snarky, you know, in a snarky remark, she goes, "Oh, well, damn, you didn't even finish the cooler?" I'm like, I could have done that. I'm just like, yeah. Like, you called me every 10 minutes. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, you said you were swamped on the register, like multiple customers in line. I came to help you out on that note. Not to mention, after I would get done with those customers, I would go fix some food, or trash needed to be taken out. Things needed to be face fronted, you know, relatively urgently. So, like I said, when it comes to gang stalking jobs, they try to control the job atmosphere. They try to control the job outlook for their benefit, for their sake, you know. Because remember, when you're being gang stalked, they don't even want you working. This is why those of you who are gang stalked, consider it a blessing that you guys still have a job and that you guys have a place to live. Because I got ran out of my place to live. I got ran out of my job because, you know, extenuating circumstances. So consider that a blessing for people who are being, you know, gang stalked, that actually have places to live and stuff like that. Because right now I'm at ground zero. I have no ID, no social, no nothing, and I already know the system is gonna make me jump through hoops and hell and high water just to get any of that back. So I'll say this before I'm gonna get out of here. This is gonna be a short video. Use your sense of discernment. Like I said, when I would be in the cooler, and mind you, I only worked that job for about a month and a week before they fired me. I'll tell you why they fired me. So people would knock on the door, knock, and like I'll go out. I remember it happened 3 times. The first 2 times I kind of let it go. I'm like, yeah, whatever, get out of here, gang stalkers, you know. And then like the third time, I'm like, you know what, forget this. That's when I walked outside, and I'm like, hey man, did you need anything? Nothing. I'm like, why did you knock on the window? Oh, did I? Oh, I'm sorry. Because usually when you knock on the window, you open the door and you tell me what that particular row is missing, so I can replace it. That's, you know, my job. So he goes, oh, nothing. You know, I'm just like, oh man, these people are getting incredibly obnoxious with this. So, not to mention, I would hear V2K weapons being used on me while I'm working in the cooler. So let's talk about my first paycheck, right? So I work like 12 hours on my first paycheck. She pays me for 5. I'm like, Louisa, you took hours from me. I didn't mean to say her name. I'm like, my supervisor, you took hours from me. What happened? And she completely shuns me and like just, you know, shrugs it off. And I'm like, okay, well, Like, I don't know what job you go to and you work 14 hours and they only pay you for 5. And then she goes, well, our pay period stops on a Thursday. I'm like, that doesn't even sound right, because I didn't even see it on my next paycheck. So in so many words, essentially what they're doing is they're stealing my money. They literally stole my money from my job. So this is why I mean, like, for people who are being gang stalked, consider that a blessing that you still have a job, and that you haven't quit your job, or they haven't fired you, or whatever, you know. Or if you have a career, then, you know, they haven't, you know, sabotaged that in any ways, because that's usually what they try to do. when they have you, kind of by the balls, and for all intents and purposes. So what ends up happening is, I'm at this point, I'm like, man, this is some BS, like who has to go through stuff like this? And I'm like, should I call the Labor Commission? Then I'm thinking to myself, those people are probably gang stalkers. Should I call the Better Business Bureau? Those people are most likely gang stalkers. Remember, because when you're gang stalked like I am, and remember, everybody has different levels of gang stalking. Mine is more of a godly principle in terms of my being gang stalked. Other people get gang stalked for other things, for information, for truth telling, even on a conspiratorial basis. So there's different levels of people being gang stalked. So I started taking concessions, right? Because I'm figuring, hell, if I'm gonna get robbed with my paycheck, they're gonna take money out of my paycheck. I might as well just take small concessions here and there when I can get away with it. And I remember one Saturday evening, I didn't have to go to work, and I go into 7-Eleven, which is where I worked at out here on Stewart, out here in Vegas. And I go to 7-Eleven, and I walk in. Nobody's in the store. Nobody's outside the store. Right? That's very, very. There's nobody even. Remember, this is Vegas. There's nobody even in there gambling at this moment. You know how, like, unreal that's not even that's very, very, very odd to have those turn of events. So I'm walking, I'm like, oh, this is a test, and I'm like, I'm tired of these people testing me. F this, and so I go, and what ends up happening was, I'm waiting on my coworker. I'm like, okay, she's probably working. That's when I'm like, you know what? I'm broke right now. My paycheck was short. Let me grab a cigar and a Gatorade, and I put it on the counter, and she took. I'm telling you, it was a setup. She took a minute. Remember, the bell didn't even go off when I walked in. The ding dong, that didn't even go off. It didn't go off. And I even knew it. I'm like, man, this is a setup. But let me. They want to test me. Let me test them, because they took my money at this point. I'm thinking they won't blame me if I don't blame them, because I haven't ratted them out to anybody as far as the Better Business Bureau or the Labor Commission or anything like that. So, and what ends up happening is, I go in, I come out. Once I made the decision that, okay, I'm going to take this with me without paying for it, screw it, and I put it in my thing, and that's when she comes out of nowhere. Oh, hey, damn, how long have you been waiting here? Da, 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 da. I'm like, oh, nothing much. Did you need any help? And she's like, oh, no, I don't need any help. Are you sure? Because, I'll stock some stuff. It's my day off. I'm kind of tapped out right now. And then she gets a phone call. And then whoever's texting her is texting her that I took something, obviously, because it's so obvious. Everything's painfully. Remember, when you're being gang stalked, everything is painfully obvious, and even the stuff that you may not consider obvious, it's obvious if you really look at it. So it'll be in retrospect in terms of it being obvious, right? So I'm just like, I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking about, like, damn, should I just should I cough it up before I leave so I won't get fired? And I'm like, you know what, screw that, because if I got to work on this job for the next year of my life and for the next 2 years of my life, whatever, and I got to get robbed like this on a daily basis, I shouldn't even be working here anyway. I should, that's how I looked at it. Like, you don't deserve to get robbed on your job for hours that you put in, and so that's kind of how that happened. And so I leave, and the next day, obviously, my manager calls me, Brandon, you're fired. I'm like, I almost said her name again. What was it say? I'm like, Louisa, really, you stole my hours. You stole like $80 worth of, like, not 80, about $60 worth of pay from me. Like, what are you talking about? You took like 6 or 7 hours from me. Like, what do you mean I'm fired? Like, what? He goes, oh, well, you stole this and that, and da-da-da-da-da, and you can't be stealing from the store, and da-da-da. I'm like, you stole from me. You stole from me. What are you talking about? And like, she wasn't trying to hear any of it. And at that point, I'm at the store having this conversation with her. Because I'm thinking I got to go to work that day. I don't know if I'm fired or not. I just, wanted to just be there just in case I needed to work or not, whatever. And so she steals from me, and then she says that I'm threatening her because I'm like, I should call a labor commission on you, just for just for you being a thief or whatever have you. You claim that I'm a thief, And like I said, this is what they try to do. They try to control your occupational path so you don't have a chance as far as feeding yourself, providing yourself. They want you to lean on the system for help, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of how that happened. And when I left, she's like, oh, well, I'm going to call the police if you don't leave, this, that, and the third. I'm like, no need. I'm out of here, And I leave, and then, and there's a reason why the creator had me stay. And I stayed, and the owner of the store comes up, and he comes up out of nowhere, and you can't make any of this stuff up. I wish I was lying to you guys, honestly. I really wish I was lying to you guys about this whole gang stalking thing. I wish I was paranoid. But this is, honest to God, what is happening to my life. So the owner of the store comes up out of nowhere. He threatens me. He's like, you know what? You're a effing piece of, ish, and I should kick your ass and this, that, and the third. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Hey, listen, your supervisor, your subordinate, she's under me. She's under you, and she stole from me. And meanwhile, my coworker, Rob, he's like, he's trying to get my number at the same time. He's getting kind of, anxious because, this is getting out of hand. And he's like, you know what? You're a thief, this, that, and the third. I'm like, your manager stole like $60 worth of my salary. What are you talking about? I'm a thief. She stole like $50 to $60 worth of my salary. I'm just like, how am I a thief again? Like, she goes, well, how do you know she did it? I'm like, because I can do math. And not to mention, when she did it, I brought it up to her. My very first paycheck, I brought it up to her. I'm like, Louisa, this paycheck seems kind of short. Maybe you didn't put all the hours in. Oh no, I put all the hours in. The pay period stops on Thursday, and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, and then the next week I got paid again, and it was short again. You know what I mean? Like, I know math. Like, this is simple, basic math. Like, anybody can tally up the hours that they owed. And mind you, I filled out no W-2. I didn't fill out W-2. I filled out the W-2 on my initial one, right? I filled out a W-2, and then they shredded that up, literally. Remember, I filled out 2 applications for this particular job. I don't know why, because remember I told you when I first got out here, I was panhandling. And the lady comes outside, why don't you just ask my boss for a job? And he goes, as a matter of fact, here. And my coworker gives me a application. I fill it out, turn it into her, tell her to give it to her supervisor. And apparently she doesn't, right? Because every time she would see me, she would go, oh man, oh, you again. Hey, what's your name again? Brandon, yeah. Oh, we'll come talk to my boss later on in the day. And I come talk to her, and she hands me another application. I'm like, why am I filling out 2 applications? Well, it doesn't matter. Here, I'll fill it out. Whatever. So the manager, right? Let's fast forward a little bit more. The manager threatens me, and he tells me something startling. He goes, you know what? And because I'm like, you know what? All you guys hire nothing but felons and criminals. How am I a criminal? I don't have a criminal record. I'm not a criminal. And then he goes, whatever. Those criminals can do a better job than you can. I was like, I bet they can. Wink, wink, right? Gang stalker, right? And then I turn around and he tells me, he goes, you know what? Whatever, man. We're here to give you a hard time. I'm here to give you a hard time. This is exactly what he said. I'm like, huh? What do you mean by that? And at this point, Rob is walking off. He's like, man, you don't want to give me your phone number? Because he had a case pending because he had just gotten an altercation at the job and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, I hear. Hold on, Rob. Let me let me give you my phone number. And this dude, and meanwhile, the owner of the store is following me. The owner of the 7-Eleven is following me, like talking, smack, and I'm just threatening me and this, that, and the third. And I'm thinking to myself, like, if you lay your hands on me, you know what's gonna happen, right? I'm gonna put my, I'm not a violent person, but like if you take it there with me, we can go there. It is what it is. But so I'm walking. I'm like, I'm walking near Rob, and the dude follows me, and I'm just like you got a new car and everything like that. You own your own store. Like, let me go on and be about my business. I know you have insurance for stealing. All stores does. All convenience stores do. And I used to work at a convenience store in Long Beach, where they ran me out of my job. All stores have what you would deem as insurance, like for lack of a better term, thieving insurance. So that's how that happened. So there you have it. He kind of let the cat out the bag. He said, "We're here to give you a hard time. I'm here to give you a hard time." I should have caught it on camera. I wish I would have caught it on camera, but I wasn't thinking to catch it on camera like that. Not to that extent. But anyway, I'll let you guys know when I leave the city and get the hell out of Dodge. I'll let you know what city I'm in, the next city I go to. So I'll see you guys soon. This is Brandon Lee Marks signing off. And I am a proud survivor of being gang stalked as a so-called targeted individual. You guys take care, huh?